you start rapping people, like battle rapping people in your neighborhood, but then it turns into this unique art form because you always had a passion for rap.
Yeah, and we were really young, super
Mhm.
young,
Mhm.
16, 17. Gained a relationship with my mom because my mother, she was off drugs for 20 years, 25 years.
Unofficial Therapy, welcome. It's your girl Waheeda. I'm here with one of my favorite people, Murda Mook. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing me love. Um, so there's so much that I want to talk with you about,
Okay.
but the focus really is going to be about like mental health,
Yeah.
right? Just our taking care of our mental health.
Mm.
And for someone like yourself that has gone through so much through your career in the battle rap scene, but also just you being a human being, being a young kid coming out of Harlem, trying to make something of yourself, right?
Yeah.
There's so much you've endured, you've encountered, and so that takes a toll on your mental health. So I want to talk about that.
I'm here.
um, let's talk about your journey a little bit first. How did you get started in like knowing that you wanted to be in battle rap?
I just knew I wanted to rap.
Mm-hmm.
At an early age, I want to say 10, 11, my cousins would come in the house.
Mm-hmm.
My older cousin, rest in peace, Kaka, he was like my brother, my big brother. I would see him around and, we would mimic that. And we would just listen to the Wu-Tang tapes and, got inspired and
I love that.
saw them and like, oh, that's us. They're not really superheroes. They're from where we from. Then
Yeah.
when we started to really see, Cam Mason, Big L, and these guys, like we used to watch them literally with our own eyes. We were inspired to make something of it. And so, just picked it up, rapping, and just got better and better.
Yeah.
Because we just was hungry and we had no real ways to get out.
Yeah.
It was like, I played basketball too. I was really good at basketball. That was, one lane. We all know the drug selling, those,
Okay.
that's automatic when you're young. That's just what you see.
An easy way to make money.
Always when you're young in the environment that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And, music. And I just wanted to be a triple threat, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you start rapping people, like battle rapping people in your neighborhood, but then it turns into this unique art form because you always had a passion for rap, but then battle rap is
Yeah.
another lane.
Yeah, what happened, shout out to Jay Mills,
Mhm.
shout out to Smack, shout out to ATM Live, which is the actual first DVD that actually put out me and Jay Mills for the hood before Smack DVD, right?
Mhm.
But Smack, he caught the footage and
Took the footage and
fortuitous, right? And he
Yeah.
had the vision and he just went out and spread the word.
I love that.
And it turned into, unbeknownst to us, we from Harlem, so we just like, this is what we do automatically.
Exactly what you enjoy.
Yeah, this is what we do. This is really nothing like out of the ordinary. We really trying to do this to get, recognized by record execs and stuff like that.
Correct.
From the street, word of mouth, so then they could pull us in the studio and we could make records. Like battle rap wasn't like the end all be all or the seal. It was like that was a means to get to that.
Yeah.
We didn't, God, we didn't recognize what God was really showing us at
that
the
you
time.
could create your own lane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So but then, Smack went out there, and then once me and Jay Mills battled, it set the precedence where for other people around all other, cities and states, even the world,
Yeah.
they saw this and they was like, yo, what the is this?
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Well, if you think about it, people love authentic.
Yeah.
Anything that's authentic, and that's what you guys were in your authentic element.
Yeah, and we were really young, super
Mhm.
young,
Mhm.
16, 17, I didn't really have things figured out. And I know that is a part of how I got here,
Mm-hmm.
is not really having a chance to have a real childhood. Like, now that I've become older, more mature, and I have a child of my own, I understand what a childhood
Looks like.
looks like. And it didn't look like that for us.
Absolutely.
So, but we never addressed any of these issues ever.
Or unmet
It was
needs.
normal. It was
Yes.
normal
Yes.
how we grew up. It was normal walking over dead bodies. It was normal seeing somebody get shot. It was normal seeing drug addicts and people on your steps. It was normal getting your stuff stolen out your house or stolen out. This was just like normal stuff to us.
Well, I remember when I was in I think it was like the 8th grade, and someone died in the news, and not knowing it then, but knowing it now.
Mm.
The teacher talked about it, and I was like, well, miss, people die every day.
Yeah.
And, my teacher probably looked at me like, wow, you're totally desensitized to the violence around you.
Yeah, it's I think the concept, like what you were talking, people do die every day. And we can't live our lives afraid of death, because then you won't be living.
Mm-hmm.
We know we all have to go,
Mm-hmm.
right? People do die every day.
But I was seeing so much death.
Yeah, but what it is, in the manner the death came in is what you were desensitized to. And like,
Correct.
people just die like, it's like a normal death could be a gruesome death.
Yes.
You can't differentiate between the two. And that's where that came in for her, like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have this daughter. She's a beautiful.
Her name is Cassius.
Beautiful
Williams.
girl, beautiful soul.
I love you, baby.
And she actually changes you.
She changed me in
I
so
love
many
that.
ways. Yeah,
I love that.
She's the only one that I really submit to.
That's beautiful.
And I'm married too.
Of course, I know your wife. Yep.
So I submit to my wife, but I give hell.
So of course you do. It's down with a fight.
But with my daughter, at first I thought it was like just me being like a gushy dad, like growing up, like, yeah, my daughter's really like intelligent, or my daughter's really clever and smart. But we all say that, until I started to challenge myself to consciously try to go against whatever it is, to make myself know that, all right, I want to see how clever she really is.
Okay.
So I always gave her resistance, but I was always stumped. She always was able to stump me. It's not easy to stump me. She genuinely was able to do it within the most calmest of demeanors. And I just love her. Like, she changes me every day, every single day.
And I know that that's part of the reason why you've like made some changes with your lifestyle and some of the things that you choose to do now. Just like seeking a healthier path, for example, right? It's because of your daughter.
Oh, yeah, she has a big a gigantic role in it. Ultimately, it's for me.
Of course.
Ultimately, it's for me. First, I wanted to change, but for her, the most.
I love that.
Yeah, for her the most.
She's worth it. She's worth that.
It's not enough words to describe how much she's like you. You can't even describe it. She's out right now, and I'm sorry that I'm speaking about you, because this is not what she's on. So I'm not even gonna let me just hold her down. I love her. But yeah.
So you've made some changes. Now talk to me about that, because a lot of people that look to you for, I would say, look to you for inspiration. I'm sure that there's similar reasons why you wanted to make a change in your life that might influence them. So what were some things that you were going through that caused you to seek change?
And where? Which part?
Like in your recovery?
um, what I was going through
Or just the places that you felt like you needed healing? Because recovery helps with that.
in my, that's a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Trauma from my mother. I realized I was just like her, and I didn't want to believe that
Okay.
because when I grew up, I was able at 9 years old and 10 years old to be outside doing things that adults would do. I could stay out, I could do things, and that's because I was born in, I'm in the crack era. And in the crack era, we know how it hit our parents, we know how it hit our families. And I was a victim of that. And so I always had a disconnect early. Um, and I was able to desensitize immediately. So from that, growing up, having all of that trauma,
Yes.
and then finally about to gain a relationship with my mom because my mother, she was off drugs for 20 years, 25 years. And then she slipped again. And I wasn't there when she did because I was holding back all of the stuff that I just didn't give a about. Like I didn't care about because she wasn't there. All I knew about, I didn't know about her disease. I didn't know about how hard she was fighting. I didn't know about, I just knew that I was a kid that didn't have his mommy.
Yeah. And that's tough.
So I never was really able to forgive her
Mm.
fully. And then when I began,
Mm-hmm.
she was just snatched away.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
it just threw me into a whirlwind of emotion because when she was alive, I would say horrible things because
To her.
yeah, to her
About her.
about it. My family would call like this your mother. I didn't give a at the time because how could you choose drugs over me? How could you do that?
Yeah.
How could you? I didn't give a about how what the disease did. I didn't know. I didn't care. Meanwhile, I'm starting to use drugs
Exactly.
and drink more to not feel that, and I'm just like her.
The cycle.
She was introduced to it by someone.
Mm-hmm.
I never took that into account. People tell me about my mother beforehand, before I really got to know her, because when I initially began to have age of reason, my mom was already gone on it. She was already on it. So I didn't really know her young,
Yeah, you didn't know who she was
who she was
before.
before.
What's your mom's name?
Melody,
Melody.
Sabrina Ankrum.
So you didn't know who she was as a person. You just knew who she was after the addiction.
What I saw. So what
Yeah.
I was able. So I was. It would be nights I would scream for my mom,
Yeah.
but my mom, she would leave me. She would tell me she would come back and stuff. And my dad was in jail.
Yeah.
You know, I had my grandmother and my aunt Tootsie, angels, my angels. My aunt Tootsie is the reason I'm alive because she she was the one. She lived away. She made something of herself. She was a manager at the Bell Atlantic. She played tennis. She taught me culture. So she saved my life. She was able to grab me